Steve is with us in Oklahoma City. Hi, Steve. Welcome to the EntreLeadership Podcast.
Hey, Dave. It's an honor to talk to you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, sir. How can we help?
So I am a new leader in a real estate business here in Oklahoma City, and I've been with the company for just about a year. And one of the things that we don't provide to our employees, we're a small company, and that I have a goal of in the future is to provide employee benefits like 401k and medical insurance and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question is, at what point in your stages do you start offering formal benefits to your employees?
I don't know that it would be necessarily a stage issue. Most people in treadmill operator stage don't have the margin to do it.
Right.
How many team members did you say you had?
We have 6.
6. Okay. And what kind of business?
It's real estate, property management. We do flip houses and rental properties as well.
Okay. Well, in your world, there's a lot of independent subcontractors as well. And so they're more used to providing their own benefits because they're self-employed if you're an independent subcontractor. Right. So that, around the real estate world, that's fairly standard. Like if you own a real estate brokerage operation, you might have 40 agents, but 100% of them are independent subcontractors. There's not a benefits package typically in those settings. Mm-hmm. So it's not, in other words, the marketplace isn't demanding it. Now, in terms of when did we start doing it, the first thing we looked at was, did we have the money? Do we have enough margin? Do we have actual profits that we could then turn and invest back into the team? Then the second thing we looked at is, was that something that we've morally felt good about providing that to the team? And then the third thing was, do we feel like we should be doing that if we could? And then the third thing is is there a measurable ROI? I'll give you an example. Okay, health insurance is uber expensive, it's just crazy. It's and every year I have to deal with it. And since Obamacare came in, it's just God Almighty, it's a mess for small business. It's horrible. Okay,
yeah,
and then on the other side, there's disability insurance. Long-term disability insurance. Now, long-term disability insurance costs, compared to health insurance, almost nothing. Mm-hmm. And so that's something I believe strongly in, having long-term disability insurance. And it costs almost nothing. And when I had the money, it was one of the first things I bought because it was a lot easier decision because it didn't cost anything compared to health insurance. Now, health insurance has been a fiasco since day one. And to start with, we came up with a plan. This was before Obamacare, where because we've been in business a long time, and we would pay part of it, you pay part of it, and when it increased, well, we both picked up some of the increase. So you knew what your health insurance was costing. Because people that have 100% of their health care insurance furnished, they don't measure the cost of it at all as a benefit.
Right.
It could cost a business $1 bazillion, and the employee, the team member, doesn't even care because they haven't noticed. So we're more on that end of the spectrum today, where we furnish all of it, or almost all of it, and so. And certainly meet all the guidelines of the federal requirements today that we have to do. So not as thrilled with health insurance as you can tell, but I'm glad we have it, and we've got some wonderful stories of children in the NICU, babies being born here and they're in the NICU, and health insurance, kept them alive $1 million worth. And we've got wonderful stories of stuff like that. So we've been glad we've had it over the years, but it was a harder one to write the check for because it's much bigger than simple long-term disability, which is a much better bang for your buck on the benefits side. The third thing I would say, or fourth thing, or whatever it is I would say about this is we never, and I would never suggest any of you that are running small businesses, get in the mindset that you have to compete with corporate America on the benefits package in order to get a team member. I want team members here who benefits is one of the last motivators for them. Instead, they're motivated by work that matters, a quality environment. They're motivated by working for a family business who actually knows about them, loves their family, cares about them. Corporate America does none of that. And if all you're worried about is a benefits package, then I'm suspect of you when I'm interviewing you in a small business setting that you're just here to collect a check. You want a job, and where can I get the most money and do the least work? And that's not who I want on my team anyway. So if you're chasing benefits packages, you're probably not a future team member. And so that released me from this need to keep up and provide all these benefits that corporate America provides. Now, I believe strongly, morally, in a 401k and using it at the proper time in baby step 4 that we teach in our personal finance curriculum and have for 30 years. So we have a strong matching program, and we're not allowed by law, nor do we tell people they can or can't get into it, but we strongly suggest you follow the freaking baby steps. We can't make you do that, but, so consequently, our people that are in the 401k, they're putting a full 15% in. They're getting a good company match. They've got a Roth option. They've got good mutual fund options because I'm freaking managing the 401k. I mean, I know what I'm doing. So this is one of the best 401ks in the dead, but it's not because I'm trying to keep up with corporate America. It's because it's a very cool thing I can provide, and I can make a few extra millionaires out of the people that work here just doing that if they stay here and do the stuff I teach all the time. So that's kind of the moral component, and it's got a great ROI. By moral component, I don't mean that they're morally entitled to it. I mean that I morally believe in it. I ethically believe in it. And if I teach 401k on the street, like as a must, as one of the 7 baby steps, then I ought to have a robust 401k program. And I do. We do at Ramsey. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking at. I'm looking for ROI, meaning bang for the buck. If I put in $1 million, do I feel like I'm getting $1 million worth of credit, street cred, with the team and with the right kind of potential team member? But I never want someone to join our company because, they've got a great 401k. That should be way down the list of the reason they join Ramsey. Or, they've got great health insurance. That's someone who's figuring out what they can get rather than what they can give. And we want people coming in here that add value, not are trying to be parasites on the organization. So I'm fine running off. I went to work for so-and-so because they had a better benefits package. You know what? That's perfect because we didn't want you anyway. That's not you're not the type. You come to work here and you love our benefits, not because of our benefits. So that's a different mindset. And really, small business, corporate America, the first thing they do when there's a downturn in the economy is they pee on their team members. And they turn around and fire a bunch of them, and they call it layoffs, right? And they just piss all over them, and it's just treat them awful. And so you're expendable. You're just a unit of production, and they'll put your little butt on the street at the first turn of a hat. Small business doesn't do that. Small business people, I talked to a friend of mine the other day, is getting hammered in this downturn right now, and he had to lay off some of the people that he loved. He was crying. He had tears run down his face talking about laying off people because their company's in trouble. I mean, it's a horrible time for them right now. That's small business. They got a huge heart. They love you. You're the last thing they want to do is put you on the street. They work too hard to get you in there. So that's the kind of people that Steve is and that we are at Ramsey. And so, keep that in mind, all of you small business. Don't try to philosophically compete for people that are just looking for a benefits package with your benefits package. But align your benefits package with stuff you really believe in and you really like. I'll give you an example. Here's another thing you could do. Guess what? If you work here, Financial Peace University is mandatory, and you get a whole truckload of our products every year free as an employee benefit. Why? So you can give them to your friends and relatives, and because you believe in what we do here, and you're proud of what we do here. So you can give away, a Dr. John Deloney new book for Christmas presents this year. That's pretty stinking cool. That's the equivalent of if you work at a heating and air company, the receptionist at the heating and air company should have a really fine air conditioner. Hello? I mean, she ought to have the best one in the world, right? And if you work at in a dentist's office, I mean, for God's sakes, everybody ought to have great teeth, right? And it ought to be on the dentist, it ought to be just given, because these are the products that you ought to be bragging about it to your team. Your team ought to be proud to work there, and all that whole process. So, there's a lot of things you can do in small business, just sharing what you do with your team, and there's all kinds of wonderful things that you can plug into that way, where you're not trying to compete philosophically head to head, and that makes a big difference. So that's a really, really good question, Steve. Thank you, and congratulations on making your successful business happen, man. Real estate's slowed down. You're one of them slowed down right now. And the one, the beautiful thing is those that have got their crap together and that survive the downturn are really going to be ready when this thing comes roaring back. And man, I'm ready for it to come roaring back.